The sun hung bright over the bustling Hong Kong film set, casting golden light across the colorful props and busy crew. Jackie Chan was right in the middle of choreographing a light-hearted action comedy sequence, laughing, guiding young stunt performers, and adjusting camera angles with the ease of a man who had spent a lifetime on movie sets. The atmosphere was warm, disciplined, and full of excitement, until an unexpected shadow fell across the set. Steven Seagal had arrived. No announcement. No greeting. Just a slow, heavy walk through the middle of the crew, his sunglasses on, arms folded, and ego filling the space around him. He had been invited only for a friendly visit, but from the way he carried himself, it felt more like an invasion. Crew members exchanged glances. Jackie's stunt team paused mid-practice. Jackie himself offered a polite smile, bowing slightly. "Welcome, Steven," he said warmly. But Steven didn't smile back. Instead, he scanned the stuntmen and scoffed. "This is your training," he said loudly, his voice dripping with mockery. "These techniques are outdated. No wonder modern action movies lack real martial arts." Jackie's smile faded a little, but he remained calm, correcting a stuntman's wrist position instead of responding. That only seemed to irritate Steven more. He stepped closer. "What's wrong, Jackie? Can't defend your methods?" Jackie tilted his head, still refusing to engage. "We're just making movies. No need for conflict." But Steven wasn't done. He smirked. "Or maybe you're just not as sharp as you used to be. Age catches up to everyone, even legend." A quiet gasp moved through the set. Cameras stopped rolling. Even the background extras froze. Jackie breathed in slowly, his patience balancing on a knife's edge. He didn't rise to insults, not ever. But something in Steven's tone, the disrespect toward his team, the arrogance dripping off every word, it stirred something old inside him. Something he hadn't felt in years. Steven stepped even closer, his voice loud enough for everyone to hear. "Show me if you still got it, old man." The air tightened. The crew stared. Jackie lifted his eyes, calm, focused, and sharper than Steven expected. And in that single silent moment, something shifted. What Jackie did next would shock everyone who witnessed it. For a moment, the entire set held its breath. Steven Seagal's provocation hung in the air like smoke, thick, uncomfortable, impossible to ignore. Jackie Chan wasn't a man who sought fights. He avoided them, diffused them, turned them into comedy on screen. But this wasn't a movie. This was a real man, in a real place, disrespecting real people. Still, Jackie stayed composed. "Steven," he said gently, "we're here to make a film, not compete." But Steven took this as weakness. "Oh, come on," he barked, stepping into Jackie's space. "All these years, people call you a legend. Let's see if you earned it." A few stunt men shifted nervously. One whispered, "He doesn't know Jackie's trying to protect him." Another whispered back, "Someone should tell him." But no one dared. Steven clapped loudly, drawing everyone's attention. "Let's give these folks a real show." Without warning, he grabbed one of the younger stunt performers, Kai, by the uniform. A gasp shot through the set. "Steven, stop," Jackie said sharply. Seagal twisted the young man's wrist, flipping him to the ground with unnecessary force. Kai groaned in pain. "This," Steven announced, pointing to the fallen stuntman, "is how you do it, Jackie. Not with that circus stuff you do." Jackie dropped to Kai's side, helping him up, checking his arm. "Are you okay?" The young man nodded through clenched teeth. Still kneeling, Jackie looked up at Steven with that calm, almost fatherly gaze. "We don't hurt people to prove strength." Steven laughed loudly. "Maybe you don't. But that's why people stopped taking you seriously." Jackie rose slowly, too slowly for Steven's liking. "Come on," Steven taunted. "Hit me. Show them you're not just an old man doing stunts." Jackie's wife, who had been watching nervously from behind the cameras, called out, "Jackie, just leave it. Don't engage." His young son tugged at her sleeve, eyes wide with fear. "Mom, is Dad going to fight that man?" Jackie heard them both. He closed his eyes. He didn't want to do this. Not here. Not like this. But Steven wasn't backing down. He shoved Jackie's shoulder, hard. "Fight me!" The shove echoed louder in Jackie's mind than in his ears. It wasn't the force, it was the disrespect. Disrespect toward him, toward his family, toward every stuntman on that set. Jackie stepped forward, posture straight, eyes calm but intense. "If you insist," he said quietly. Steven cracked his knuckles, grinning. Finally, the stunt team scrambled back. Cameras pointed. Phones recording. The director whispered, This isn't part of the movie." The tension was electric, thrilling and terrifying. Jackie raised his hands, but not in aggression. In readiness. In discipline. In the way only a true martial artist stands when he knows a storm is coming. Steven lunged first. A clumsy, ego-fueled strike. Jackie didn't even flinch. He simply shifted. A sidestep. A pivot. A blur. Steven's fist cut through empty air. The crowd gasped. Because Jackie Chan was no longer standing where he had been a moment before. And Steven was losing his balance. Steven's fist sliced through the air, wild, heavy, uncontrolled. But Jackie, he moved like water. A simple shift of weight, a half step to the side, and Steven stumbled past him with a confused growl, catching himself before he crashed into a lighting rig. The crew murmured among themselves. "Did you see that? He didn't even touch him. Steven's gonna be pissed." Jackie lowered his hands. "See? No need for this. Let's stop now." But Steven Seagal's pride had already taken the hit, his ego bruised far more than his body. "Lucky," he spat. "Do it again. For real this time." Jackie's jaw tightened. He still didn't attack. "I won't fight you," he said simply. "I don't fight unless I have to. Walk away, Steven." The words, calm, reasonable, almost fatherly, poked at Stevens's insecurities like needles. "Walk away," he barked. "Are you giving me orders now?" Before anyone could interfere, Steven shoved Jackie again, harder this time. Jackie took a step back to maintain balance, but the push wasn't what bothered him. It was what happened next. Steven turned on Kai again, the same young stuntman he had thrown earlier. He grabbed the kid by the collar, yanking him up with a rough jerk. "Maybe you need a better teacher," Steven sneered, tightening his grip. Kai winced in pain. "Sir, please." Jackie's heart sank. This wasn't a challenge anymore. This was cruelty. Jackie walked forward, his voice low but sharp. "Let him go." Steven didn't. In fact, he pulled his arm back, ready to strike the terrified stuntman. That was it. Something snapped inside Jackie. Not anger. Not rage. Something deeper, an old instinct, born from decades of discipline and a lifetime of fighting for respect, for integrity, for the safety of those around him. Jackie's body moved before his mind formed the words. In one fluid motion, he was no longer the smiling actor. He was the warrior. The legend. The man who had trained under masters, who had broken bones, who had bled for his craft, who had survived stunts that would terrify ordinary men. He stepped in, gently but firmly taking Kai out of Steven's grip. "Enough," Jackie said. The word wasn't loud, but it was final. Steven lunged again, this time with a desperate, frustrated fury. He aimed a heavy punch at Jackie's face. Jackie didn't block. He didn't dodge. He waited, calm, patient, and at the last possible millisecond, he shifted his weight, letting Steven's fist brush past his shoulder. Steven's own force betrayed him again, making him tilt forward. And that's when Jackie moved. A swift hop, gravity defied. A twist of the hips, precision born of decades. A flash of his leg. Crack. Jackie's trademark spinning back kick landed squarely on Steven's chest. The impact echoed like a gunshot. Steven's massive frame lifted off the ground, actually lifted, before crashing backward into a stack of foam crates that exploded like fireworks. For a second, no one breathed. Even Jackie seemed surprised at how instinctive the move had been. And, oh my God! That was real! Jackie knocked out Steven Seagal. Phones shot up. Voices overlapped. People ran closer, stunned and exhilarated. But Jackie didn't chase, didn't pose, didn't smirk. Instead, he stepped back, hands open, breathing steady, concern in his eyes. "Stephen?" he asked softly. Stephen wasn't unconscious, just shocked. He blinked rapidly, trying to understand how the man he had mocked as old had sent him flying with a single clean strike. He struggled to sit up, coughing. His face burned red, not from pain, but humiliation. I slipped," Stephen muttered. No one believed it. The crew didn't even try to hide their disbelief. Still, Jackie extended a hand to help him up. But Stephen slapped it away. "Don't you dare pretend you're better than me," he snarled. Jackie sighed, a long, tired sigh. "I'm not better," he said. "I'm just someone who doesn't want to hurt people." But Stephen wasn't listening. His pride was bleeding. His reputation, his identity, felt like it was shattering. He stood unsteadily, pointing a trembling finger at Jackie. "This isn't over." Jackie didn't move, didn't flinch. He simply said, with quiet conviction, "It ends when you stop hurting people. Not when I do." The words hit harder than any punch. And though Stephen tried to mask it, something in his eyes flickered. Fear, doubt, recognition, whatever it was. The crowd could feel the shift. The tension on set didn't disappear. It intensified. Because everyone knew. This wasn't the end. It was the beginning. Steven Seagal stood there, wobbling, brushing splinters of prop wood off his jacket as if they were insults he could shake away. His face was a storm. Shock, anger, confusion, all fighting for control. Jackie Chan, in contrast, remained steady, stillness wrapped in humility. His breathing was calm, his posture relaxed, his expression almost apologetic, as if he were the one who had made a mistake. The contrast was unmistakable. And that's when it happened. From the back of the crowd, a young woman gasped loudly. "Oh my God, that's Jackie Chan!" Silence rippled, then broke. "What? No way, is that really him? Jackie Chan? The Jackie Chan?" Within seconds, whispers turned into a wave of excitement. Crew members exchanged looks, half relieved, half anxious. They knew they were witnessing something historic, but they also knew how dangerous this could get. Stephen, still dazed, blinked hard. "What are you talking about?" That's just some stunt guy." The girl held up her phone with a trembling hand. "No, that's him. Look, Jackie Chan. The legend. The guy who does all his own stunts." Another voice chimed in. "Bro, he's literally the most respected martial artist alive. How did you not recognize him?" Stephen's face went pale. Jackie raised his hands modestly. "Please, don't make a big deal. We're just working." But the crowd couldn't help themselves. Someone started clapping. Then another. Then applause rippled across the set, growing louder and louder until it echoed off the studio walls. Stephen looked around, bewildered, as if he had suddenly become the villain in a movie he didn't audition for. He turned to one of the assistant directors. "Is this true? That's really him?" The AD swallowed hard. "Yes, sir. That's Mr. Chan, our lead actor. Our executive producer." Stephen's mouth fell open. "Executive, what?" The crew fell quiet again, waiting for Jackie to react. But Jackie simply bowed his head, deep, respectful. "I didn't want to embarrass you, Stephen," he said softly. "We all have bad days." The humility in those words, it made Stephen's expression contort. He wasn't used to anyone handling him gently. He was used to being feared, respected, obeyed, to be forgiven. That confused him more than any punch could. But his ego fought for its life. "Don't patronize me," Stephen snapped, though his voice cracked. "I wasn't even trying." A few people snorted. Someone actually whispered, "He still doesn't get it." Stephen heard them. His jaw clenched so tightly the muscles twitched. He pointed at Jackie again. "You think you're better than me because you're famous? Because people cheer for you?" Jackie shook his head, a sad smile forming. "No. I think everyone has something to teach. Even you." Stephen blinked. He wasn't expecting that. Jackie continued, his voice gentle but firm. You're strong, Stephen. No doubt. But strength isn't for hurting people who can't fight back. It's for protecting them. The words didn't scold. They healed. Even the crowd seemed to soften. Stephen opened his mouth to argue, then stopped. His eyes darted to the stuntman he had thrown earlier, Kai, who was still rubbing his wrist but watching Jackie with admiration. For the first time, Stephen's expression wasn't anger. It was regret. A flicker. Small but real. Yet pride is a stubborn enemy. Stephen looked around, trying to regain control of the moment. Fine, he snapped. If you're so great, let's finish the fight. A collective groan came from the crew. Sir, please, the director began. Stephen held up his hand. I want a fair fight. No tricks. No fancy flips. Just skill versus skill. Jackie closed his eyes briefly. When he opened them, they were filled with something the crowd had never seen in him before. Not anger, but a quiet resolve laced with sorrow. If I fight you, he said, it won't end the way you think. Try me. Stephen stepped forward again, but before he could get close, a new voice cut through the tension like a blade. Master Chan. Everyone turned. It was Inspector Huang, a high-ranking police officer from the Hong Kong police force, entering the set with a team of officers. He stopped dead in his tracks at the sight of the two martial arts legends squared off. He stared at Jackie, then at Stephen, then back again. Mr. Seagal, do you realize who you just attacked? Stephen swallowed hard. I don't care who he is. But his voice lacked conviction. Huang stepped closer. He's not just an actor. He's a cultural treasure. A humanitarian. He's trained half our force. He turned to Jackie and bowed deeply. Sir, my apologies for this disgraceful behavior. The crowd erupted again. Gasps, murmurs, whispers of, he's done. He's finished. Stephen's breathing quickened. His face collapsed. Jackie said nothing. He simply looked at Stephen, not with triumph, but with disappointment. And somehow, that hurt Stephen more than the kick. The energy on the set had shifted completely. The man who walked in like a king now looked small, lost, exposed. And yet, the story was still far from over. Because what Jackie said next would change everything. For a long, trembling moment, Steven Seagal just stood there, chest heaving, pride cracked, eyes darting between Jackie and the stunned crowd. The applause had faded into an uneasy quiet, the kind that settles moments before something irreversible happens. Jackie finally broke the silence. Stephen, he said softly, I told you, I didn't want to fight. But Stephen had dug himself too deep to climb out with dignity. His voice rose, thin and desperate. You think you're some kind of saint? You think you're better than me because they worship you. Jackie's face softened. No, he said. I think we both made mistakes. Stephen flinched. That wasn't the answer he'd expected. He wanted a battle, an explosion, a display he could twist into a victory later. But instead, Jackie was offering him grace. And somehow, that felt worse. Trying to regain control, Stephen puffed out his chest again. You embarrassed me in front of everyone, he snarled. You didn't have to kick me. Jackie tilted his head. You grabbed a kid, he said calmly. You forced my hand. Kai, the young stuntman with a sore wrist, stepped forward. Mr. Seagal, he was just teaching me. You didn't have to. Stephen cut him off sharply. Stay out of this. The command came out harsher than he intended. Kai stepped back, swallowing his words. Jackie straightened his jacket, then took a step toward Stephen, but not aggressively. His posture wasn't that of a fighter. It was that of a teacher. Stephen, he said in a low, steady tone that carried more weight than shouting ever could. When you walk onto a set, these people look up to you. They trust you. You're supposed to lift them up, not push them down. Stephen's nostrils flared. Don't lecture me. Jackie didn't stop. I'm not lecturing you. I'm reminding you of who you used to be. The words hit Stephen like another kick. His face twitched, something between anger and shame. Jackie continued, his voice unwavering. I've broken bones. I've been hurt more times than I can count. But I never hurt someone who wasn't ready. Never someone who trusted me. Never someone who looked up to me." Steven's mouth opened, but nothing came out. "This," Jackie gestured at the cameras, the stunned crew, the frightened family, "is not strength. This is fear. And fear makes people dangerous." The entire set had gone silent, hanging on every word. Even the wind seemed to stop. Jackie took one more step closer, now only inches away from Steven. His voice dropped to a near whisper, but everyone heard it. "Real martial artists don't humiliate people. They protect people." Steven's bottom lip trembled. The man who walked onto the set like an untouchable powerhouse now looked like a scolded child, stripped of every illusion he had built around himself. Then Jackie said the words that would echo across the internet. "If you wanted respect, you should have given it first." The crowd froze. No one breathed. No one blinked. Steven's eyes glistened, not with rage this time, but with something far more painful, understanding. The truth had landed. His voice was barely audible. I didn't mean to." Jackie nodded. "I know. That's why I didn't hurt you." Steven swallowed hard. His shoulders sank, his arrogance finally cracking apart. For the first time since he arrived, he looked human. Behind Jackie, the stunt team watched with wide eyes. Jackie's wife held their son close, relief spreading across her face. Steven looked around helplessly. The crowd, once starstruck by him, now watched Jackie with a reverence he had never commanded through force. He tried to speak again, but his voice broke. I just wanted." He stopped, unable to finish. Jackie placed a gentle hand on his shoulder. This time, Steven didn't pull away. "You still can," Jackie said. "But not like this." Those simple words cut through the tension, slicing it clean in half. The crowd exhaled as if releasing a breath they'd all been holding. Some nodded. Some wiped their eyes. Some whispered. He handled it like a true master. Steven had no idea who he was dealing with. Jackie didn't beat him, he taught him. But as powerful as this moment was, the most shocking part was still ahead. Because the world hadn't seen the video yet. And the truth about what really happened was about to explode across the internet. Long after Jackie's quiet words settled into Steven's chest, the energy on the set remained tense, fragile, like a glass statue that could shatter if anyone breathed too loudly. Steven did not speak. He couldn't. For the first time in years, he was not the strongest man in the room, and he knew it. But while he stood frozen, the outside world was already moving at lightning speed. One of the background extras, the same young woman who had first recognized Jackie, had posted the video online. At first, it spread slowly, a few hundred views, a few shocked comments. But then someone shared it. Then another. Then a martial arts forum picked it up. Then a celebrity gossip page. Then a major news account. Before the set even resumed filming, the clip hit 1 million views. By lunchtime, it crossed 5 million. By sundown, it reached 10. It wasn't the kick that made it viral. It wasn't even the confrontation. It was the contrast. Steven Seagal shouting, pushing, posturing. And Jackie Chan, humble, calm, composed. Still trying to protect him, even as Steven's ego thrashed like a drowning animal. The comments poured in. Jackie didn't fight him, he educated him. Seagal didn't lose the fight. He lost his dignity. Jackie Chan is what real martial arts looks like. I can't believe Seagal grabbed a stunt kid. That's messed up. Clips were slowed down, analyzed frame by frame. Experts chimed in. Look at Jackie's posture. He was pulling his power. He could have knocked Steven out cold if he wanted. Jackie showed control at a level most fighters never reach. A popular YouTuber posted, Jackie didn't even break a sweat. That's terrifying. By the next morning, the entire world was talking about it. Back on the set, the aftermath begins. Steven arrived earlier than anyone expected. No entourage, no sunglasses, no booming voice. He walked quietly across the set, shoulders hunched, face drawn. Crew members stopped what they were doing. Even those who disliked him felt a pang of sympathy. The man looked defeated. He approached Jackie slowly, hesitating with every step. Jackie was sipping tea, reviewing notes with the director. But he noticed Steven instantly, because everyone did. Steven cleared his throat, his voice tiny compared to the man who had roared across the set only a day earlier. "Jackie, can we talk?" The director stepped away, giving them space. Jackie nodded. "Of course." Steven swallowed hard. "I saw the video." He looked down, unable to meet Jackie's eyes. It's everywhere," he continued, voice cracking. "They're calling me a bully, a fraud, a joke." Jackie didn't gloat. He didn't smirk. Instead, he asked a simple, unexpected question. "Do you think you were wrong?" Steven's throat tightened. His ego wanted to lie. His pride wanted to fight. But the truth was undeniable. "I hurt people," he said quietly. "I disrespected your team. I disrespected you. His voice broke completely. "I'm sorry. I'm so damn sorry." Jackie placed a hand on his shoulder. "Steven," he said gently, "apologizing takes more courage than fighting." Steven shook his head bitterly. "I don't deserve forgiveness." Jackie smiled softly. "Forgiveness isn't something you deserve. It's something you earn." Steven's eyes filled with tears. He fought hard to blink away. "How?" he whispered. "How do I earn it?" Jackie didn't hesitate. "Start by respecting the people around you. The stunt men, the young actors, the fans, your colleagues." He paused. "And most importantly, respect yourself enough to be better." The words hit Steven with the weight of a lifetime of mistakes. He nodded slowly. "I will try." "For now," Jackie said warmly, "that's enough." But the world wasn't done watching. Later that afternoon, a group of reporters gathered outside the studio. News vans parked along the street. Helicopters buzzed overhead. Everyone wanted a statement. When Jackie stepped outside, microphones filled the air. "Mr. Chan, do you have anything to say about the incident? Did Steven really attack you? Is the viral video accurate? Did you plan the fight? Was this a publicity stunt?" Jackie raised his hand, smiling softly. "No one was hurt," he said calmly. "We just had a misunderstanding." "But Mr. Chan, but the kick, but his behavior." Jackie shook his head gently. "Steven is learning," he said. "And I'm proud of him for that." The reporters blinked, stunned. Proud of Steven Seagal? After everything? But Jackie wasn't done. Martial arts is not about beating people. It's about helping them grow. We all lose our way sometimes. What matters is finding the path again. The quote went viral instantly. Comments flooded in. "Jackie is too pure for this world. He protected him even after the fight. This man has no ego. Zero. He's not just a legend, he's a leader." Steven watched it all unfold from the shadows of the studio entrance. And for the first time in years, he felt a strange sensation. Not humiliation. Not anger. Gratitude. Because Jackie Chan hadn't just beaten him. He had saved him. Saved him from himself. By the following morning, the story had exploded beyond anything the studio expected. Clips of Jackie's calm restraint, his gentle words, and Steven's emotional apology were circulating across every platform. TikTok edits, Twitter threads, YouTube breakdowns, news articles, everyone had something to say. But the part that spread the fastest wasn't the kick. It wasn't the confrontation. It wasn't even Steven's humiliation. It was the message. Respect is stronger than any punch. Real power is protecting others, not hurting them. Strength without humility is weakness. Jackie's quotes were printed on posters, trending hashtags, motivational pages, and even martial arts school walls. Around the world, instructors used the incident as a teaching moment. Parents showed the video to their kids. Teachers played it for students learning conflict resolution. Fans praised Jackie for showing what leadership really looked like. Meanwhile, Steven Seagal stayed mostly out of the spotlight. The internet's judgment was brutal, memes, jokes, harsh criticisms, but for once, he didn't respond with anger. He didn't storm online to defend himself. He didn't deny what happened. Because deep down, he knew this was the moment that could change him. 3 days later, Stephen requested a press conference. Reporters filled the room, expecting excuses, deflections, maybe a half-hearted apology. But what they got was something no one predicted. Stephen stepped up to the microphone, looking humbled, nervous, and very, very human. "I've spent years thinking strength came from fear," he began, his voice unusually quiet. "I thought respect came from making people afraid of me. I was wrong." A ripple moved through the reporters. "What Jackie showed me," Stephen continued, "was control, honor, discipline. He had every reason to hurt me, but he didn't. Instead, he showed compassion." He paused, swallowing hard. "I'm not proud of who I was on that set. I hurt people I should have lifted up. I disrespected a man who has earned nothing but admiration. And I'm sorry." It was the first sincere public apology Stephen had given in years. But he didn't stop there. "I'm taking a break," he said. "From movies. From public life. From everything. I want to learn. To be better. Jackie showed me a path, and I intend to walk it." The world was stunned. "And Jackie?" He watched the conference on a small monitor inside the studio. He smiled softly. Later that evening, Jackie recorded a final message for his fans, a short video that would become the most shared clip of the entire story. "I've been reading your comments," Jackie said warmly. "Thank you for your support. But remember this, martial arts is not about hurting people who hurt you. It's about breaking the cycle. If someone is lost, help them. If someone disrespects you, show them a better way. If someone attacks you, defend yourself with control." His eyes softened. No one should be judged by the worst moment of their life. Give others a chance to grow. Because everyone can change. The clip hit 20 million views in 24 hours. Across the internet, the tone shifted. People who had mocked Stephen earlier now commented. At least he apologized. Jackie really brought out the best in him. I hope he actually grows from this. This is what true martial arts spirit looks like. Even Stephen noticed the shift. It gave him hope. The final moment. A week later, Stephen quietly visited the set one last time. No cameras. No grand entrance. Just a man trying to make things right. Jackie saw him and stepped forward. Neither spoke at first. Then Stephen bowed, a full, respectful martial arts bow. "Thank you," he said simply. Jackie returned the bow, smiling. "Just keep walking the path." Stephen nodded once, and left, not as a defeated man, but as someone starting over. Jackie watched him go, then turned back to the set, ready to continue filming. His stunt team greeted him with applause, not for the kick, but for the kindness that followed it. And as Jackie walked back into the lights, the world walked away with a lesson. Strength is not measured by how hard you hit, but by how deeply you touch the lives of others.